KUAM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. And brought to you by Matson and the Adahi Tanu program. Cars Plus, reminding you to put your phone down while driving. Distractions won't get you there. Heads up, Guam. IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it. And King's Restaurants, always open, always local, and serving up favorites for over 40 years.
Now on primetime, another riot, this time at the home of the Titans, which leaves 7 students injured. Plus, your governor declares a state of emergency. We've got what stakeholders are doing to mitigate the spread of dengue. And details from the 2019 Biennial Conference of the Pacific Judicial Council is underway on Guam.
Avade and good evening, Guam. I'm Chris Barnett, and our top story tonight, several students injured following a riot that broke out at Tejan High School. Now, this is the second such incident to occur at a local high school campus in as many weeks. Our Adriana Cotero has more.
Parents and guardians picking up students earlier than usual at Tejan High after a riot. Jose Cruz was there to pick up his grandson, unaware of what happened.
I'm sure I'll be glad to go in there and pick up my grandson now.
Students were released an hour early today at Tejan High School following a massive riot that broke out on the school grounds during the lunch hour. According to GPD spokesperson Sergeant Paul Tapau, 5 students have been brought into custody.
Police describe it as a full-scale riot that required a full-scale response.
Officers from the Higanya Precinct Command, to include the Tumuning Precinct Command, Southern, and the Northern Precinct Command, conjoined and provided assistance relative to this riot.
At 11:40 this morning, the school was placed on lockdown by the Guam Department of Education. However, Sergeant Tapau confirms cops were already on campus.
Can you confirm if GPD was already on the grounds? We heard there was a fight prior to the riot.
There was an incident where we had officers from the Higanya Precinct, and when the riot broke out, that's when we had the additional units coming in from the respective precinct command.
According to GDOE spokesperson Isa Baza, 7 students were injured. Guam Fire Department transported 2 students, and 1 parent took their child to the Guam Memorial Hospital for treatment. 4 were treated on scene by medics. Baza confirms that alcohol played a role in both of the recent riots at GDOE high schools. Superintendent John Fernandez said in a statement, quote, "We encourage our school administrators to use their authority to deliver the appropriate disciplinary consequences. And we need to be clear that acts of violence should not be tolerated in our school communities. When it comes to violence, I will support our administrators' decisions, especially when they recommend expulsion. Recommendations for expulsion will go through a disciplinary advisory committee, and final action will be presented to the superintendent for approval." Tapau confirms a police cruiser was also damaged during the response, and sources say there were nearly 40 individuals involved. For now, the case has been taken over by juvenile detectives.
The Guam Police Department will work closely with Tejan administration to include DOE's superintendent and the administration level to address this issue.
Just last week, a riot broke out at John F. Kennedy High School. Tapau confirms 1 student was taken into custody following that incident, is being charged as an adult.
We strongly ask the parents to please talk to your kids about what had happened today and what we can do collectively as a community to prevent this from happening, not just here, but throughout our island.
Words Cruz hopes people will heed, and happy his grandson wasn't harmed.
I don't know why they're doing it. You know, they're here to learn, not to fight.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Adriana Cotero.
Meanwhile, $2 million in Department of Interior grant monies has been directed to be used to buy a district-wide intercom and paging system. Now, 31 schools are slated to be outfitted with the communication system, which in a release, ADLOOP says, will instantly relay information to and from classrooms during emergencies. The release says the buying of the intercom system is in response to concerns raised during school safety meetings months ago. Well, Congressman Michael Nicholas makes his stance on decolonization known in a Facebook post. We'll find out how stakeholders in the decolonization movement feel about our delegate's position on a new political status for Guam in this report. Delegate Mike Nicholas with a not-so-veiled attack on decolonization posted from Washington, D.C. at 1 in the morning. In the post, St. Nicholas compares Guam's decolonization movement to adulting, saying the surest way to be an adult is to go out there and be one and ignore the labels, ignore the shortcomings, ignore the challenges. St. Nicholas alluding that Guam should go out there and adult and get a job, get a car, get a house. He wraps up the FB post by saying all of these things are, quote, adulting, and the same goes for decolonization. Decolonization Statehood Task Force Chair Eloy Hara sharing his thoughts on San Nicolas's FB post after hearing it for the first time this morning.
He said a lot of nothing. Congressman San Nicolas, I'm personally addressing you that you need to get off your butt, get out in public and do your job. That's what you're elected to do. And take it from me. You might be definitely a one-term congressman if you continue the way you act now, very childish.
Both Hara and Independence Task Force Chair Dr. Mike Bavacqua pointing out the irony that Guam's political status has kept the island from adulting at a level the congressman would be comfortable with. Bavacqua found flaws in how San Nicolas has said nothing has been accomplished with decolonization.
He mentioned Commission on Self-Determination, OPIR, successive generations of leaders, and nothing has been done on this issue. And for me, I just don't understand that, because it's like, no. People have done lots of things. People have tried lots of things. And I'm confused because, I know that his grandfather served on the Commission on Self-Determination for a long time. And it's a strange argument because what he's saying there basically makes it seem like no one before him has adulted.
While the two men represent opposite ends of the political status spectrum, they both agreed that Delegate San Nicolas doesn't have the best grasp of Guam's political history. Both men citing Guam building its tourism economy post-war, the almost 2-decade-long push for Commonwealth that was eventually rejected by Congress, and the walkout that forced the federal government's hand.
Is he saying that no one before him has ever done anything?
Well,
because if he has, then that's a strange position to take.
That's why in plain language I commented that he said a lot of nothing, including the walkout. You know, when we walked out, and that's how we got the Organic Act of Guam.
Childish temper tantrum, that walkout.
But at least we got, at least a little bit better position than...
He simplified it down in such a way which doesn't make sense. It's the language that the colonizer uses. They say that you're a child. Yeah. You have to grow up. And once you grow up, then you can have nice things.
Was the post a distraction? The congressman talking about adulting while facing allegations of adultery and campaign finance abuse. Hara, meanwhile, compared the decolonization work of San Nicolas's grandfather, the late senator and former Speaker Franklin Kittigwa, to his grandson's apparent disdain for the decolonization process.
I respect your grandfather, but I've lost respect for you, and you holding the highest position that Itzamoru from Guam could hold, but your grandfather will be very embarrassed of you right now.
The group chat episode posted on our KUAM News Facebook page. Meanwhile, in other news, Harvey Kansu's attorney Randy Cunliffe has motioned for dismissal, arguing double jeopardy in the case. Kansu and co-defendant J.K. Sukyan are charged for the death of Sonter Sukin. The incident occurred in June outside the Siam restaurant. Although both were scheduled for jury selection August 12th, Cunliffe argues double jeopardy for Kansu because he already pleaded no contest to the initial charges of assault as a misdemeanor in the original indictment related to the case. Now, the new indictment charges him with murder, conspiracy to commit aggravated assault, and assault. Well, a huge week for tax refunds as the governor's office says it hopes to pay out some $25.5 million, covering more than 11,000 returns filed up to March 31st. Now, Adelup says another 7,000 returns filed April 1st and beyond will be released shortly. Stick around for more news here on Primetime. Of course, you're watching KUAM.
It's a special delivery to your inbox every week with your KUAM News Roundup, program advisories, and promotions. Sign up for the weekly KUAM Digital Digest today on KUAM.com.
Half the day, I'm in the club.
Half a day, welcome to Two Lovers Point.
Half a day, I'm in the club.
Now there's a technology that's lighting the way to a new mortgage for people all across Guam. Introducing Simplify Mortgage by Bank of Hawaii, Hawaii's leading lender. Simplify Mortgage by Bank of Hawaii lets you apply for a home loan anytime from any device, making the mortgage and refi process faster and easier. Or work hand in hand with one of our residential loan experts. So put the power of choice and control in your hands. Simplify Mortgage by Bank of Hawaii. Welcome to tomorrow.
Okay. Can I meet Alan, please?
Attention passengers of flight AJ3004, your flight has been delayed.
It's the flavor that makes you go, woo. McDonald's new spicy barbecue glazed tenders and chicken sandwich. Made with tender, juicy, all-white meat chicken.
Available in 4, 6, or 10-piece chicken tenders. Try the spicy barbecue crispy chicken sandwich too.
Matson is in this community. We've been in this community for decades. We're gonna be in this community for decades to come. Things will get busy, things will get quiet, but we're gonna be here. We're your hometown carrier. And that matters to us.
Reliability is the core of our business. We take pride in ensuring that we arrive in Guam on time as scheduled.
It's our local employees who understand the market, who understand the business, and provide that hard work for you each and every day.
When we hold ourselves to high standards, our customers also hold us to high standards. We establish good business relationships that turn into friendships. That's why it's so important to be here and be trusted by your customers. We want you to trust Matson like your friend, like your family.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Get up-to-the-minute news, plus access to alerts, streaming radio, promotions, and more on your mobile device by downloading the KUAM News mobile app, available at the App Store now.
Right before news, we got a word that there is now a second confirmed case of dengue infection, an adult male in the Swamp Road area of Dedito. This as our Magahaga signed Executive Order 2019-21, which injects much-needed funding and special procurement procedures to facilitate public health and its partners to get their mitigation plan in full gear. Our Julia Santos has the very latest.
So the executive order was signed last week, and that's just to allow the governor to transfer the funds, transfer of authority of up to $250,000 from the general fund. This will be coming from the Department of Public Health's budget. This is just so we can expedite the resources and get them to the places we need.
Those resources include 3 different pesticide sprays, one each for interior and exterior that attack the nervous system of adult mosquitoes, and a third chemical agent that can be bought over the counter, which is specifically designed for the insects' breeding grounds. There are mixed feelings about using pesticides, as there is no guarantee against possible contaminating the residents as well as the environment. Guam EPA spokesman Nick Lee.
Safety precaution and hazard warnings found on both the labels and the safety data sheets primarily are there for the applicators themselves.
The applicators, meaning the individuals who conduct the spraying, are most at risk for side effects. The contractor working with public health uses U.S. EPA guidelines when handling and discharging the chemicals. The torrential rains were a major factor in this process.
The guidance from the safety data sheet and the product label suggests that you do place a risk of runoff onto the with the product if you're applying it in rainfall. Regardless of what you're applying, you never want to apply any type of pesticide or any insecticide in the rain anyway.
He explains also that heavy rains and winds rendered the spraying useless, so the crews had many obstacles to work around over the weekend. Maguinao Mayor Alan Ongata was busy also playing his part in the mitigation efforts.
My staff and myself are trying to get the word out there, if they can be vigilant, that there will be public health officials going door to door, and they're doing an outreach concerning the dengue fever.
We caught up with the mayor in the middle of cleaning up the trash bags and collected debris from last Friday's island-wide cleanup. He says the timing worked out as his crews were able to gather more than 30 tires and other potential breeding grounds for mosquitoes. Here's what some of the residents had to say about the use of insecticides for mitigation.
I am not for using pesticides to kill insects. If there's some natural way to do it, then do it. I'd rather have a few people have dengue fever than to use those poisons.
I'm concerned because I have a 10-month-old now and he loves to be outside. You get diarrhea and like fevers and joints and muscle aches, so that's something I'm concerned about, not just for him but like for me too. So I think it's good that they're spraying the schools and like trying to get whatever area they think is infected.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Julius Santos.
We should add that the adult male was identified as having dengue after being seen at the Guam Memorial Hospital emergency room. In other news, a former State Historic Preservation Officer, Linda Uggan, is before the Civil Service Commission at this hour for a motion hearing in the appeal of her termination from the Department of Parks and Recreation. Uggan's attorney, John Bell, says DPR has not complied fully in providing communications from the governor's office about Uggan's firing. Bell argues that, quote, leadership changes of this magnitude simply don't happen without consulting the front office. Bell also plans to argue that Assistant AG Donna Lawrence, during 15 hours of recordings, cut off witnesses exonerating Uggan and would feed witnesses lines and coach them to second-guess everything Uggan did. Uggan was fired on June 18th. She had filed a grievance against DPR Director Rich Ibanez. Now, Adelup spokeswoman Janela Carrera at the time said the governor was not aware Uggan would be fired. As the transition begins to new GovGuam health insurance provider Aetna, represented by Netcare, the governor's office says it's been fielding many calls from employees worried about various issues, from ongoing treatment to a possible increase in costs. Adelup spokeswoman Crystal Paco says Adelup is working on the answers.
Change can be very, very hard, and transition to our new healthcare provider will be difficult. But, we're working with Aetna International to alleviate all the concerns. I can assure you that the governor and lieutenant governor met with Aetna International representatives that are on island to kind of raise all the concerns that we're hearing, that our office is receiving, myself included.
But the administration says it can't release much about the costs and any impact the new contract might have on employee deductibles.
We can't detail too much about the contract because it has yet to be signed. We're still ironing out those details. But as soon as we get information, we want the public to know that Aetna International was the most economical provider.
The open enrollment period has been extended from September 23rd to October 12th. The new coverage starts on October 1st. A new executive order by Governor Lulian Guerrero tasks one of her chief advisors to come up with strategies that could help boost the economy. She's seeking answers for the skilled labor shortage and increasing Philippine tourism to Guam. Nestor Lecanto has more in this story.
The first of former Governor Carl Gutierrez's twofold mission is to help ensure that the Philippines gets back on the list of approved countries for the H-2B skilled labor program. The shortage of workers has stalled private sector projects, and Gutierrez says at the very least, Guam should get special consideration because of a long track record in good standing.
We're going to try to convince them that Guam may be allowed, hopefully be allowed, as a H-2 for Guam only, and keep the United States out. I'm not concerned about, I don't know how many of the H-2s they have in the mainland, but that Guam, like the visa waiver program for tourists, it's like Guam only H-2s as well.
And speaking of the visa waiver program, which would allow Filipino travelers much easier access to Guam, Gutierrez says again it's critical that we distinguish ourselves from the rest of the U.S. He says negative factors that hurt our consideration might be true on the mainland, but not here.
My strategy is to be able to convince the federal government the Department of Homeland Security that that Guam is unique, in fact, and we're not part of the 40% overstays as the United States are with the Filipinos. We're 1 to 3%.
And at the direction of the governor, Gutierrez says he's using his past connections to bolster support.
She had asked me to at the outset to see whether her strategy of bringing the Philippines in together with us, moving it forward to Washington, would be a good strategy, and I've made inroads there already in the Philippines.
Gutierrez says he met recently with boxing icon and Philippine Senator Manny Pacquiao and with Philippine Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, who will sponsor a joint resolution expressing the Philippine government's support for both the H-2 skilled labor and visa waiver programs. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
The Judiciary of Guam is playing host to the 2019 Biennial Conference of the Pacific Judicial Council. The four-day conference held at the Hilton Guam Resort and Spa will feature discussions in trauma-informed practices in courtrooms, juvenile justice reform, and fostering a respectful workplace in the respective island judiciaries. Supreme Court Justice Philip Carbolito is the chairman of the Education Committee for the organization, and he helped design the conference's program.
I think it's extremely beneficial because you understand human behavior a lot more. You understand that there may be other reasons rather than it's just a bad person. The person may have not take his or her meds, and so there may be other reasons behind the behavior.
The PJC was formed 25 years ago. It's a regional organization of judicial officers from Guam, the CNMI, the FSM, and the states of Chuuk, Koshrai, Pohnpei, Yap, American Samoa, and the Republic of Palau. The conference wraps up Thursday. Well, sports is next. Keep it right here.
Your exciting new TV experience is here. Smarter, faster, easier to use. With live TV, recordings, video on demand, and streaming apps, all in a single place. When you're looking for something new, recommendations are tailored to you. Voice-powered, personalized results to find what you want faster. And the unlimited potential of smart home. The new experience from TiVo is here.
Get ready, Guam! Jamaican Reggae Explosion. Storehouse Productions, along with Game Time Inc., presents Hope Slam 2019, a benefit concert to promote suicide awareness and prevention at the Governor Joseph Flores Memorial Park on September 21st, 2019. Live from Jamaica, we got Kevin Downswell, Jermaine Edwards, Gotti, Adrian Cunningham, and Terry Ann Johnson. We'll have local performers to get the vibe started, and food vendors will be on site. This is a family-friendly event. Advance tickets are $15 for adults and $5 for kids. Tickets available at Anderson ITT, Navy MWR, 76 Circle K in Agate, EPOW Road, and Dedito, or purchase online at eventbrite.com. Gates open at 5:30 p.m. Hope Slam 2019, slamming the door to suicide. Special thanks to all of our sponsors.
This would be awkward if you were sharing these nachos with anyone but yourself. Nachos are now a meal with your choice of double the seasoned beef or slow-cooked shredded chicken plus a medium drink. The Grande Nachos Box, only at Taco Bell.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J. All right, welcome to sports. Tonight we're talking esports. Over the weekend we had a big esports tournament, the Laddie Esports League, and we got some of the competitors here, guys. Go ahead, introduce yourself, throw out your gamer tags.
Hello, my name is Adrian. I'm also known as Cabra.
I'm Michael, also known as K3D.
And I'm Brian, also known as Sly.
All right, so you're rocking the jerseys here, Team Blackfire, Team Windward, just some of the team members. Let's talk about the tournament, how you guys did.
We did really great. Definitely we went through our competitors, Tango Teeters, I believe. 3-0.
That's my team.
Yeah.
Wait,
So-
you were 3-0 against us? Dang it.
Yeah, a clean finish against you guys. So.
What game?
We did Street Fighter 2 for the celebrities, and we did Smash Ultimate for us Smash players.
Right. That's your game of choice. How did you do?
We did fairly well. You want to talk about it more, Michael?
I feel that we did pretty well. I felt that my match was a little bit rocky, but I could have done better. But in the end, I ended up clutching it out.
Yeah, you guys ended up getting the win. So even those little things where you're like, I got to work on that for the next tournament, because it's like doing a sport or doing anything else. You got to practice. You got to put the time in to get better. What do you think? How was the tournament for you?
So for our team, we actually kind of like sort of got carried by our celebrity a bit because like Street Fighter 2, you know, we got it on our end, but my teammate who's not present right now, Renan, he ended up losing his match against Westy from Coffee Slut. And it was pretty rough. First match wasn't like too bad, but second match, I could definitely make the argument that he dominated a bit.
I mean, but it happens. You can go in like you're super confident, you got this, but the competition on Guam is at such a high level that any day you could get bested by someone, or you could smash some dude who's normally better than you. So how much time do you put into actually practicing?
When it comes to actually practicing, me and Michael always try to find time to show up and practice, possibly about 2 hours at his place. We do look over some videos like VODs from before the Laddie Esports. We analyze them and try to look through some things we could improve on, you know, stuff like that. Like we don't have to like spend the entire day on it, as long as like, you know, back when I was playing sports, we had to just practice like 3 hours or 2 hours a day. So once we got that down, you know, we just gotta sink it into our minds and then improve from there.
Right.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say to maybe a guy, girl, kid, anybody that wants to get into competitive gaming?
I just say throw yourself into it. It's really fun, but in order to get better, it's really hard to improve at something that a lot of people are already good at, you know? But I would say just give it a shot, go ahead, try your best. And if you really want to get into it, it's an option. Just practice and see if any of your friends might like it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And then you could be a competitive gamer rocking a jersey and supporting your team. And the sponsors, Monster, came together to put this whole tournament together. Big thing, man. I had a great time. So what are you looking for the next tournament, what you need to improve on?
Well, we're pretty much gonna try to, you know, do what they did and just look over videos and just look back at whatever sets we might have done, whether it's, you know, friendlies or even competitive in a sense, and just analyzing anything you can, even just a little bit of what you can take from a match can make even the biggest difference.
Yeah, it really can. And then you put that into play in the next tournament, October 20th. Do not miss it. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show, man. These are your esports competitors. Laddie Esports, check them out on social media and get news on the upcoming tournament. That's it for sports.
Attention drivers, we have a shipload of vehicles on the way and need to make room. Buy now during Triple J's shipload sale. Take advantage of our best pricing on all Hondas, Acuras, Fords, Mazdas, Lincolns, Volvos, Kias, and used cars. Plus 0 down and no payment for 90 days on approved credit on select new vehicles during Triple J's shipload sale. See PDN and post-print ads for details, or purchase your next vehicle online at triplejguam.com. Trade-ins welcome, some conditions apply. Triple J Auto Group, customers first.
A beautiful, healthy smile is an expression of confidence. The more confident you are about your smile, the more likely you are to fully express your feelings without having to worry about the way your teeth look.
Before cosmetic dentistry, I didn't smile as much. I didn't have the confidence, and it shows. And since I've had cosmetic dentistry done, I feel 10 times more confident. I make my initial introduction with a nice big smile and a handshake, and I just feel like it really is a relationship builder, a nice warm smile, and it makes the clients and customers feel more comfortable with you, feeling confident, and they feel that you're not just there for business, that you're also there kind of as a friend as well. So, I mean, it's amazing how powerful a smile can be. A good smile.
Since your smile makes a significant impression on those around you, it is important that it makes the impression you want it to make.
We know it's one of your favorite shows, and yes, it's back for a new season. Here's a preview of This Is Us.
Feels like we're making it with love. That is what makes people really embrace the show. Oh, those are my stories up on that screen. It's not just Jack and Rebecca or Kevin and Kate and Randall. That's my story.
The magic of this show is there's still so much story to tell, and that is exciting.
This is gonna be one of the biggest moments. I think it has the potential to be that, like, them people done it again.
There are some oh boy moments where you will be a little bit caught off guard in a really good way.
I'm really excited for everyone to see the episode, but also I really can't wait to hear what everybody thinks.
It is almost as if we are telling a new story, and fans will be very surprised.
It feels purposeful, what we're doing.
And it's real. That's what I think of when I see the show. I think about hope.
To really affect somebody's soul and make them want to be a better person, it doesn't get any better, man. Like, I love the show.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
Okay, everybody, happy birthday to John Felipe Castor, who hits double digits today. Happy 10th birthday to John from all of us here at KUAM and Cold Stone Creamery. Also, happy birthday number 15 to Kiara May Uggan. This comes from your entire family. It is a happy birthday to Mr. and Mrs. Anthony and Percy Tidewee Cruz. Happy birthday to the two of you from all of your family. Also, happy birthday wishes going out tonight to Isabella Claros from all of her friends and family, including us. And a single happy belated birthday wish. This goes to Joseph Jr. Tapasna Tidewee. Happy belated birthday from all of your family.
Remember, you can be a part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club by registering online at KUAM.com. But please make sure to include with your photo your name and your birth date. Well, that's going to do it for us here on the KUAM News Desk. But stay tuned. Everybody's favorite, Jason Solis, is on the way with Extra.
Health, home, and lifestyle. Presented by Paradise Fitness Center, changing lives since 1996.
Half a day, everybody. Jason Salas here, and thank you so much for tuning in for KUAM News Extra. My good buddy Nurse Jen Artero is up first, and she has this week's installment of Health Check.
Health Check with Nurse Jen is presented by Island Cancer Center.
Half a day, I'm Nurse Jen. Before I start this segment, I am neither endorsing nor discouraging CBD use. I'm here to provide data and let you decide. But of course, after consultation with your doctor to weigh in on the pros and the cons. CBD is everywhere on Guam. It's in coffee shops, vaping outlets, hotels, and even in ice cream chains. It's sold as oils, drops, creams, lotions, vape, or edibles. So what is it? CBD is the second most prevalent active ingredient in the marijuana plant. In simple terms, it's the cousin to medicinal marijuana. But this cousin doesn't peer pressure you to get high. Instead, CBD is your cool, chill, mellow, no drama mama cousin. According to the World Health Organization, the latest research study says CBD does not show any evidence of addiction, dependency, abuse, or any public health issues related to disease or problems. The local hemp CBD lifestyle experts cite that CBD is good for things such as chronic pain, arthritis, knee pain, back pain, neuropathic diabetic pain, seizures, insomnia, depression, and poor appetite, such as from cancer chemotherapy. But the research is still out if it helps migraine headaches, smoking cessation, and acne. Before you buy, it's important to know the difference. CBD does not get you high, but because it has up to 0.3% of THC. However, medicinal marijuana, yes, will get you that high feeling because it has more than 20% of THC. It's critical that if you are a licensed healthcare professional, a federal employee, a GovGuam employee, a DOT employee, a military member, to know that the FDA does not regulate CBD products, and as a result, you may have a substantial amount of THC in your bloodstream, ultimately testing positive for a drug test. In addition, there is no substantial research CBD use in your still growing child or your pregnant woman's unborn fetus. The more you know about CBD, the better you are able to make a decision to use it or not. I'm Jen Artero, registered nurse, reminding you, don't wreck yourself, help check yourself.
Health Check with Nurse Jen is presented by Island Cancer Center.
Do stay tuned because when we come back, we talk about the Constitution.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
At Island Cancer Center, we treat our patients and their families like our family. We have all been touched by cancer, and it is important to feel comfortable and secure under the care of our health professionals. You can count on us for skilled cancer specialists, the most advanced cancer-fighting technology on the island, and a commitment to caring for you or your loved one with compassion, respect, and empathy. Our family, treating your family.
Island Cancer Center, located on Guam Medical Plaza. Visit us at islandcancercenter.com or call 646-3363.
Howdy, everybody. I'm still Jason Salas, and welcome back to KUAM News Extra, streaming on Facebook and coming to you on KUAM TV8. Constitution Week is a time-honored tradition on our island and our nation where we celebrate the liberties we have and the very document that codifies all of this. And who better to tell us all about it than one of the most learned members of Guam's legal community, the very Honorable Presiding Judge Alberto Lamarena III. Your Honor, always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure being here, Jason. Thank you.
Lovely
for
shirt.
Inviting me. Oh, thank you.
Dressing very, very comfortable. Yeah, so, one thing that we all, I would say, you know, it's kind of a weird thing, take comfort in is the Constitution. Maybe some of us even take it for granted at this point. Is that part of the reason why Constitution Week comes about, so that we can continue to remember, continue to uphold those traditions and pass them on?
Well, sometimes, you know, we're all very busy nowadays. We're running around doing many things, and we forget, you know, the concept that brings us together, the concept that governs us, and that's the U.S. Constitution. Whether or not whatever your political differences are, we are still governed by the U.S. Constitution. And it's always good to remember once in a while what the U.S. Constitution is all about and what it embodies.
Now, I know from the various interviews we've done with your colleagues in law here on the island, Law Week and Law Month, sometimes they cover specific amendments to the Constitution. I believe last week in Constitution Week, you were focusing on different articles, maybe different amendments. Is there a particular part for this year's Constitution Week you're focusing on?
Well, right now we're trying to focus the entire Constitution.
The whole thing.
Right, because I think last year we did the Fourth Amendment. And so people target about the Fourth Amendment, but they forget what the other amendments are and what's in the Constitution. So once in a while we go back and we discuss the whole Constitution, what it's all about, what came about, and why we have a Constitution, and why it was created. The Constitution when it was created was a very revolutionary document. Most of the nations or countries were kingdoms. They were run by kings and queens. The average person had no say-so on how he was supposed to be governed. He had no say-so on the functions of government. And so at the time when the Founding Fathers started the U.S. Constitution in 1789, it was a very revolutionary document because it was a document for the people, by the people, and of the people. And at that time, if you study history, that was very revolutionary. It was unheard of.
And one of the things that's so often spoke of about the Constitution, it's always got the ability to ever evolve. You can always modify it. You can propose things to...
Yes. The good thing about the Founding Fathers, they knew that the Constitution itself was subject to amendment. So they did put a provision, and I think it was Article 5, which the people, if they wish to do so, can amend the Constitution by Congress or by the state legislatures.
Is there any particular amendment, as a practitioner of law, that in your perspective bears, significant meaning to us on Guam and like our way of life out here and just the way that we do things around here?
Well, I think the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments of the Constitution, which was added to the Constitution after the basic Constitution was drafted, was passed, I think governs the way we function as a people. It tells us what our rights are. It tells us to what extent the government can impose itself upon us. It tells us what our duties and obligations are, what we should expect from the government. It divides the power between what is the function of the federal government as it relates to our government, the local government. So the first 10 amendments is probably the Bill of Rights. I think if you want to see as the most important part of the Constitution is the first 10 amendments, because it governs our relationship with each other, and it governs our relationship with the federal government, and it governs our relationship as a state or as a local government.
Very well said. Now, for this year's Constitution Week, what's being done throughout the island to make sure that we
Well,
honor
right
the
now we do the normal. We've done, and we hope to expand. We had a kickoff. The Lieutenant Governor, myself, and the Chief Justice signed proclamations and passed a Judicial Council resolution commemorating this week as U.S. Constitution Week. And then this week, we are going out to the various schools to talk about the Constitution with our various students. But I'd like to expand it one day to include our adults, because sometimes many of our adults forget what the Constitution is all about and what it means to them.
I'm getting so much information just from the two of us sitting here. I feel like I'm in an 11th grade, social studies class all over again. Yeah, so much of it's coming rushing back by you talking about it.
Well, when I do jury selections or I select grand juries, I always remind the people sitting out there, prospective grand jurors, that being a juror is one of our obligations. The jury system is the backbone of our criminal justice system. It ensures that every individual who is brought by the government to the courts gets a fair and impartial proceedings, gets equal protection, due process. And that's why jurors are for. I think we're one of the few nations, I think one of the only nations in the world, that really entrusts the criminal justice system to our people. And that's very important because it's absolutely important that if you are indicted by the government for a serious crime, it's good that your jury of your peers listen to the testimony, and then determine whether or not you are guilty or not guilty. At least you don't have, the government telling you that you're guilty or not guilty. You have common citizens deciding that for you.
Well, Your Honor, on behalf of all of the people of Guam, they've got the right person. The Constitution is in the right hands, figuratively, and with the right voice continuing to let us know about it and appreciate it. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much,
from all of us
Jason,
and
for
to you and
inviting
all
me.
your colleagues.
Okay,
we'll see you soon,
appreciate
Your
it.
Honor.
Thank you.
And we'll see you right after this.
MTO, professional janitorial services with a warm hospitality touch. MTO gives that gift year-round. Pressure wash roofs, pressure wash driveways, lawn service, home cleaning, carpet restoration, office cleaning, commercial cleaning.